And John Denver rings around the Bramall Lane Stadium as he always does. Just
Mellow yellow, I think it is.
That's it, mellow yellow, you got it. And as the greasy chip butty is sung, Norwich, I called them Norwich straight away. Bristol City get us underway. They're kicking towards the Kop end to our right. Myself and Danny are sat at the back of the Tony Curry main stand here at Bramall Lane. So Sheffield United will be attacking the Bramall Lane end, where there is some travelling support from Bristol City. Not quite the huge amounts you've had in recent times. Certainly when Blackburn were here in the FA Cup, they filled out that whole end. Away down the right hand side comes Andreas Fireman for Bristol City, but he can't drive the cross back from the byline. It smacks into the side netting, and Adam Davis gets the goal kick. Still playing in the absence of the suspended West Fotheringham. Made 5 league appearances since his January move from Stoke, and he finds the captain John Egan to flick on to Ollie McBurney, who indeed also almost flicked it onto Iliman Ndiaye. And now John Fleck picks it up for Sheffield United, centre of the Bristol City half, out to the left hand side of Max Lowe. Infield it goes to Tommy Doyle, a little chip ball to the far post. Up goes Baldock to try and win a header. McBurney tries to turn it across the face of goal from the right hand side, and it deflects out off Cameron Pring, the Bristol City centre half, for a Sheffield United throw. Minute gone, 0-0 on Talksport 2.
Well, we were talking about, obviously Bristol can be a very, very dangerous side, nothing to play for, unless Sheffield United score the first goal, because then they can go, oh, you know what, that's it. You know, they'll work really, really hard, but if Sheffield United can get that first goal, sometimes then you see a huge drop-off from that team with nothing to play for. It's very, very difficult for them to pick themselves up. So Sheffield United got to make sure they're on the front foot, keep them under pressure.
Goal kick to Bristol City, who last won at Bramall Lane not too long ago, March 2019. Actually, Andreas Fireman, who's out there starting for Bristol City tonight, he scored a hat-trick here in that 3-2 win.
I know you're not allowed to, he doesn't like you mention it. Do you think Stuart McCall might get on top of a car if they get promoted?
That famous clip where he lost his balance, shall we say, when slightly under the influence, when he was a Sheffield United player. Yeah, I don't think he'd repeat the dose. Now, here comes Sander Berger down the right hand side of the box. George Baldock tries to fire it across the face of goal, but not too much on it really, and it goes flying out of play behind the goal for a Bristol City goal kick away to our left hand side. You're in Talksport 2, you're home with the EFL in the Championship. Sheffield United 0, Bristol City 0.
Sheffield United, got to remember, they've got themselves into this situation between being relaxed, playing good football. There is a temptation when you get into these sort of games, you get into the end of the season, you try and force it. You try and really make that win happen rather than just keep playing the way that you've done. And you saw it a little bit there, trying to maybe hit the cross a little bit too hard, a little bit too perfect, and you get it wrong. Pressure affects players in so many different ways.
Now here's Max O'Leary, the Bristol City keeper, just let the ball trickle out of play for a goal kick. That's quite cleverly played actually by Max O'Leary, and he will have the goal kick for the Robins. A Bristol City win tonight does take them to the same points total that they achieved last season. This is their 8th year in a row as a Championship side. Sheffield United, of course, in their 2nd season back at this level after Premier League relegation. 5 points clear of Luton, who are in 3rd going into this game tonight, and this is Sheffield United's game in hand. After tonight, they'll all have 4 to play and 12 more points left to play for. Throw into Bristol City in their right back position, 20 yards from the halfway line, and George Tanner launches it down the right hand side, looking for Harry Cornick, former Luton centre forward. Cleared away only as far as Andy King, but his ball forward is intercepted. Back over the top, Naki Wells giving chase, forcing Adam Davis to come out of his area to head clear and get good distance on the headed clearance, in fairness to the Sheffield United keeper. And then Bristol City tidy up, and Zach Viner will touch it back to his keeper. Just trying to get some possession here, Bristol City, get their foot on the ball and settle in the game a little bit at 0-0. 4 gone.
Yeah, game's a little bit scrappy at the moment. Like I said, sometimes, Bristol City will come here, adrenaline charged, a lot of effort for the first 15-20 minutes or so, and then the game will start to settle down. But if Sheffield United can score, they can really get Bristol on the back foot, and their energy levels will drop dramatically, I think.
Falls on halfway, and another round of applause in the 6th minute for former number 6 Eddie Colquhoun. And Bramall Lane gets to its feet to salute the man who skippered the club in the 60s and 70s. Eddie Colquhoun, fondly remembered by all here at Bramall Lane. Bristol City win the ball back as the round of applause rings around this famous old stadium. Our first goal of the night has gone in, and it's gone in at the Pirelli in League One. Burton 0, Bolton 1. Bolton 5 unbeaten and 2 points clear of 7th with this game in hand. They lead through Victor Adebayo in the Pirelli Stadium. Big goal that for Bolton Wanderers in this ridiculous scrap for promotion and playoffs in League One. So that's the first goal of the night that's gone in the 7:45 kickoffs. 8 o'clock kickoff. Millwall in the Championship hosting Birmingham. Elsewhere it's 7:45 for your lot. Bristol City win a throw 20 yards inside the Sheffield United half on the near side to us. Paul Heckingbottom just rolls the ball to George Tanner, who can take the throw for Bristol City. Joined from Carlisle, former Cumbrian right back, wins another throw as it's deflected out of Max Lowe. But this is closer to the halfway line for Bristol City, looking to make some headway and create half a chance. Haven't had a chance worthy of the name for either side quite yet. And Tanner again looking for an option down the line. Cornick is the man he's aiming for, but it's headed out of play by Jack Robinson. But that gives Bristol City another throw, level with the Sheffield United penalty area at the Cop end, away to our right hand side. And again Tanner has the ball in his hands, gets it back, plays it to the feet of Cornick. Cornick looked for Naki Wells, who was stationed out on this right flank, but it got away from him, and Sheffield United have themselves a throw. Sheffield United won at Ashton Gate back in November. Iliman Njai with the only goal of the game. And after the FA Cup on Saturday, I think I said Sunday earlier, it is Saturday tea time that they play Manchester City.
A real strange kick-off, isn't it?
Yeah.
4:45.
Very bizarre kick-off time.
At least let the Premier League games finish. Or,
There'll still be 5-6 minutes to go.
Yeah, at least
right.
let all the league games finish as well, EFL and National League as well.
But after that, they're in the middle of a stretch of home games here, Sheffield United, because they've still got West Bromwich Albion and Preston to welcome here in succession before they go away to Huddersfield, and then they're home to Birmingham on the final day of the season.
Last 3 points, isn't it?
I'm not biting. I'm not. You're right.
Having said that, though, there's some tough games in there.
Well, the West Bromwich Albion game's an intriguing one. Depends what position they're in, because if West Brom win at Blackpool tonight, then they'll really have something to play for when they entertain Sunderland.
Preston won't be an easy game.
No, Preston, they've got plenty to play for.
And then, of course, Huddersfield with Neil Warnock there.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure, as great as his ties are, he's not going to want to do Sheffield United any further.
Great challenge, Zach Viner for Bristol City. Fires it downfield onto the thigh of Naki Wells, trying to turn it round the corner for Sam Bell, and that forced Ahmed Hodzic to just turn and put the ball out of play for a throw-in on the Bristol City left-hand side. 0-0 with 8 minutes gone on Talksport 2.
A little bit of hesitation there, wasn't there, in the Sheffield United defence?
Seemed to be.
Was probably thinking that Davis, goalkeeper, probably should have been a bit more demanding, should have come for that a little bit quicker, helped out his defender.
So it's a throw on the left-hand side. Jay Da Silva, the former Chelsea youngster, who's been at Bristol City for quite some time now, real stalwart on the left wing back position. He's trying to tease his way to the byline, and as he gets into a decent position where it looked like he'd wrong-footed George Baldock, he then didn't take the ball with him.
He wrong-footed himself in the end. Twisted himself in knots.
One back though by Bristol City. Ball down the left-hand side of the box looking for King, but Ahmed Hodzic will just volley it out of play for another Bristol City throw. But in the past 2 or 3 minutes, Danny Mills, Bristol City have had the ball inside the Sheffield United half and just quieten this crowd down a little bit, because it is fairly quiet here.
Playing with freedom, and that's what it is. there's not a huge amount of pressure, and I said that's why the first goal is absolutely vital. They'll be keen to impress, whether they're playing for themselves, new contracts, to get a move, whatever it might be.
Well, here's Sam Bell just trying to get in behind Ahmed Hodzic down the left-hand side of the area. Tries to get the shot in. Great block by Ahmed Hodzic sliding in, so it just bobbled through for Adam Davis to claim, and a shot across the bows, quite literally, for Sheffield United to deal with. 0-0, 10 minutes gone.
Yeah, it's a really good chance. Probably just needs to get his shot away a little bit quicker. Again, maybe not the greatest of confidence in that position.
Well, I was waiting for him to chop inside, actually.
Well, sometimes you get it out your feet and hit the target. And if you take it early, often it surprises the goalkeeper. Even if the goalkeeper can't take it cleanly, palms it out for one of your teammates coming in.
Long ball downfield for Sheffield United. It was diagonal left to right, looking for George Baldock, who's back in his customary right wing back position tonight. He played as one of the three centre halves against Cardiff on Saturday in Ahmed Hodzic's absence. But Ahmed Hodzic, the Bosnian, is back in the starting lineup tonight, and we wish his wife well, who is preparing to give birth to their first child. That's why he was left out on Saturday, because they thought that she was ready to give birth, but it wasn't the case. Cleared away by Adam Davis for Sheffield United. Bounces away from McBurney, and Jai almost wriggled clear of Zach Viner, and then Cameron Pring is playing a centre half now. I remember him playing as a left back for Portsmouth, but he's a centre half these days, and he slid in well to get the ball out for a Sheffield United throw, and then Bristol City win it back down their left hand side. Harrogate 1, Walsall 0 in League 2. Sam following for Harrogate, who started the day in 21st position. Cross comes into the box, brought down by Harry Cornick for Bristol City, fires it straight at the keeper. Half a yard either side of Adam Davis, and that would have been 1-0 to the Robins. But as it is, Cornick shot straight at Adam Davis, who clutched hold of it gratefully. Big chance for Bristol City at 0-0.
Two warning shots for Sheffield United. He's left on his own at the back post. His great chest control, chops it back inside on his right foot, and the half volley with his left. He's very, very unlucky that it goes straight at the goalkeeper. But two good chances in quick succession for Bristol. Sheffield United a little bit sloppy at the back.
Danny Mills, you can hear alongside me, Ian Danter here at Bramall Lane. Just a mild bit of tension in the air from the locals, hoping that they can get an early advantage here and calm some nerves. Stevenage lead Doncaster to calm some nerves at the Lamex early on. Jordan Roberts has given them the lead. Stevenage starting the night in third, 2 points clear of three sides jockeying for position behind them. And that goal for Harrogate, I mentioned they start the night in 21st. They're 3 points clear with a game in hand of the relegation zone behind them. 5 unbeaten, and they lead against Walsall. There's not many goals around the country as yet in the EFL on the Champions League.
Still early though, isn't it?
Yeah. Champions League just about to get underway over on Talksport. Chelsea against Real Madrid. Here comes Andreas Weimann for Bristol City. Cross into the box, and it's offside against Naki Wells. It's a lovely cross from Andreas Weimann, right hand side, but Wells was adjudged to be offside. And you can hear now, Danny Mills, that the Sheffield United locals are just saying, come on, wake up a little bit, lads.
A great ball in, but far too easy. So much time and space on this right hand side. I tell you what, I'm not convinced it was offside. Very, very tight. There's three Sheffield United defenders, 3 Bristol City players in there, and they were all unmarked. That was the worry for Sheffield United. I think they've got to be very, very careful at the back. Really don't look too confident.
Well, as I said just before kick-off, there's no way Nigel Pearson, as a former Sheffield Wednesday centre-half, would want to send a team out to be half-baked against a team like Sheffield United. Salford City lead Hartlepool. That's got impact at both ends of League 2. Matt Smith for Salford, who are behind Mansfield in the final playoff spot by 1 goal. Not 1 point, 1 goal. And that goal's now been cancelled out by Matt Smith. And Hartlepool, of course, second bottom, 2 points off Crawley Town. And the ball volleyed out of play by John Egan, meantime, for Sheffield United. Again, you can just hear little pockets of irritation around us here at Bramall Lane, as Sheffield United are struggling to build on what looked, Danny Mills, to be decent early momentum in the first couple of minutes. 0-0 here.
Yeah, they do look a little bit edgy, a little bit nervous. I think they went behind at the weekend, didn't they, to guard it?
Now here's Cornick down the right-hand side. Sam Bell's in the area. He goes down. Was he pulled down by Ahmed Hodzic? No, says the referee. It breaks out to the left-hand side. Work back to Andy King. Out to De Silva, left-hand side for Bristol City. Into the box. Bell with a header. He puts it wide. Big chance for Sam Bell, and the corner's been given. It came off a Sheffield United player last of all. Nervous moments at the back for the Blades.
He didn't really commit to that header. A great opportunity from the first one, but when the second one came in for the header, he didn't really go for it. He almost pulled out of a little bit. I think it's a penalty on the edge of the box.
Well, we can't see from the replay that we've been shown as to how that collision came about between Bell and Ahmed Hodzic, but the cross that came in, Bell just had it taken off his head, I think, by a trailing foot. But it's a corner to Bristol City at the Cop end, driven in to the edge of the area, headed out by Fleck for Sheffield United. Silva gets there first, tucked back into the area, but just couldn't find his man there on that right hand side for Bristol City. Could Matty James, and in the end the ball is going to be sent back for a Sheffield United free kick. Leyton Orient just need a point to win the title, but they're down to 10 men in their game at Gillingham tonight. Omar Beckles, their centre half, has been given a straight red card for Richie Wellens' men. Gillingham 0, 10-man Leyton Orient 0. Ball sent downfield by Adam Davis, but again it bounces way over the head of George Baldock, and with 16 minutes gone on Talksport 2, it's Sheffield United 0, Bristol City 0, and it seems, Danny Mills, that Bristol City have got the measure of their lofty opponents here.
Yeah, they have at the moment. You know, like I said, they're playing that freedom, they're on top. They created 4 really good chances. Sheffield United riding their luck a little bit at the moment, whether that's nerves or not sure.
Men away again down the left-hand side. It's Sam Bell, faced up by Ahmed Hodzic, darts infield to the edge of the area. Great covering, but it's broken for Harry Cornick. But then there was a foul on George Baldock by Sam Bell as Baldock stepped in to retrieve it, and a free kick given to Sheffield United. And 10-man Leyton Orient are now behind to Gillingham. Alex McDonald puts the Gills ahead, so the champagne on ice, it would appear, for the moment, for Leyton Orient at the top of League 2. 0-0 here at Bramall Lane on your home of the EFL. Sheffield United in possession just inside the Bristol City half of the field with Sander Berger looking to play the ball out to this near side, the left, as they attack the Bramall Lane end, and Max Lowe comes in field from the left-hand touchline. Then Tommy Doyle fires a lovely pass out to Jack Robinson, cross into the box, plenty of pace on it, headed out to the edge of the area. Sander Berger tries to get a touch, wriggles free of a couple of challenges, he's been driven wide, chips it back across the face of goal and can't find a red and white striped shirt, and it ends up being a Bristol City goal kick. But that's more like it from promotion chasing Sheffield United. 0-0.
But there's a definite little bit of nervousness, isn't there, about Sheffield United? They're not quite at it at the moment. And like, defensively, 4 good chances they conceded, but equally also, you have to say, in an attacking sense, yet really to test the keeper in the final third, final ball that's been poor.
Bristol City were on a terrific run of 9 matches unbeaten with 4 wins and 5 draws before they lost heavily to Manchester City in late February, and then they struggled since then. That's not a good particular omen for Sheffield United. What they don't want is to suffer the same fate, Danny, to lose heavily to Manchester City and have that play on their minds like it seems to have done for Bristol City since they lost to Pep's men.
Well, that's why I said that's why tonight is so important. You know, Sheffield United need to get that 3 points this evening, because if they don't, I mean, realistically, they could go and beat Manchester City. Of course they could. But the sort of form that Manchester City in at the moment and the relentlessness that they have, they're going to want to get to a cup final.
The ball played back into midfield by George Tanner, out to the left-hand side, but Bristol City lose possession. Big goal for West Bromwich Albion. Brandon Thomas Asante, 2-2 for him as they lead at beleaguered Blackpool in the Championship. Blackpool 0, West Brom 1. West Brom just 3 points off the top 6. And they play Sunderland on Sunday lunchtime, and we're there on Talksport 2 for what could be a very interesting encounter. Sunderland playing as well tonight. They're 2 points off 6th. They're playing Huddersfield Town tonight at the Stadium of Light. No score there. So the goals we have for you is Bristol City have a free kick in their own defensive third at 0-0 here with 20 minutes gone at Bramall Lane. West Brom 1 up at Blackpool. Bolton 1 up at Burton. Gillingham 1 up against 10-man Leyton Orient. Harrogate 1 up against Walsall, and Salford 1 up against Hartlepool. Stevenage 1 up against Doncaster. No goals anywhere else in the EFL, or indeed no goals that I can see anywhere in the National League so far tonight. Wrexham are against Yeovil. This is their game in hand, 1 point clear of Notts County, and Yeovil will go down if they lose tonight, the Somerset club. So a free kick for Bristol City, and I don't know whether it's coming across to you listening to Talksport 2 tonight on our effects microphones, just how strange an atmosphere it is inside Bramall Lane this evening.
It's always like that, Eric. It's always very, very quiet.
Not particularly. I mean, I was here for... I see, you're trying to get at me. All right, you've won.
Being up the road from North Yorkshire.
I see.
God's real country.
I forgot the Leeds connections just for a split second. Oh, one back by Andy King
so
up to
unlucky.
the edge of the area, and Sam Bell just couldn't control it as he slipped slightly, trying to collect it inside the D. Sheffield United only get it half clear, and Bristol City have it again with Andy King.
If Sam Bell had a bit more belief and a bit more conviction, could have had himself a couple of goals already by now.
It's now laid off to the left-hand side, and Matty James swings across in. Look at Cornick. Davies punches clear strongly with one fist to get ahead of Cornick, and then Tanner can't keep the ball in play, and it's out for a throw. Rochdale 0, Tranmere 1. Dale could be relegated tonight, depending on results elsewhere. Richard O'Donnell with an own goal has put Rochdale behind against mid-table Tranmere. 21 minutes gone on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Sheffield United 0-0 with Bristol City, trying to inject some tempo with George Baldock down the right-hand side, midway point of the Bristol City half. Touches it in field to Sander Berger. Berger being watched by Bell, so he has to go back to halfway. Tommy Doyle dropping deep, flick round the corner. I mean, Hodzic had stayed forward. Now it's out to the right-hand side and Baldock. McBurney with his socks rolled round his ankles thought that Baldock had stayed out there, passed it back out to the right wing, but Baldock had come in field. So halfway through the first half on Talksport 2, Bristol City have a throw in their left back position at 0-0.
I have to say, I've been very impressed with Bristol City so far. Mid-table obscurity doesn't look like it, does it?
No, they played well at Watford on Saturday from what I saw and what I've been told. They created chances there too, but didn't score, Danny, and ended up losing 2-0 to Chris Wilder's Watford.
I think Sam Bell's got himself in some really good positions so far. Just looks like doesn't quite have the conviction or belief to take that shot early or really go for that header that came in. And when you hesitate in those situations, chance is gone.
One of a number of academy graduates given their opportunity at Bristol City, Sam Bell, son of Mickey Bell, former Bristol City player. There's George Tanner on halfway. Rolls the ball into the centre circle and just tucked round the corner by Andy King, trying to get Vyman away down the left-hand side of the box, but that was well won in the air by John Fleck. And out of play for a throw to Sheffield United. Peterborough United take the lead at troubled Accrington. Again, a game with implications at both ends of the table. Johnson Clark-Harris with his 25th league goal of the season, putting Peterborough ahead. And the Posh 1 point clear of Derby, who are in Exeter tonight. And Accrington 2 points adrift of Oxford, in danger of going down. FC Halifax Town lead Bromley. Now way down the left-hand side for Sheffield United goes Iliman Ndiaye into the box. He's got Viner backpedaling, still trying to go through, but in the end the ball's taken off his toe by George Tanner and then hit against Iliman Ndiaye by Cameron Pring, and Bristol City end up with a goal kick. But just for a moment, Iliman Ndiaye showing his pace down the left-hand side for Sheffield United. 0-0.
Yeah, it was fantastic pace to get into the position, but really good defending. And this goes to show that defenders that have done their homework. He's all right-footed. He's desperate to come inside on his right foot. They closed that door off. They were happy to show him down the outside. Go on your left foot. And they gave him a huge amount of space. But he didn't want to take it. He was so insistent on coming inside that he ran into 2 or 3 players. Again, sometimes just get the ball out of your feet and have a smash across goal with your left leg.
Iliman Ndiaye, top scorer for Sheffield United in the Championship with 13 league goals to his name. And the Blades have it back with Tommy Doyle drifting out to the right-hand side. Sam Bell snapping at his heels. Still going down that right-hand touchline, Tommy Doyle, and he's done well. He's won a throw for Sheffield United, almost by the corner flag, with Sheffield United attacking the Bramall Lane end in this first half on Talksport 2. Baldock can't keep the ball in play as he tries to hook it back from the dead ball line, and the assistant on that far side gives it as a goal kick, much to the delight of those Bristol City fans behind that goal away to our left. It's 0-0 on your home of the EFL Talksport 2, and it's still 0-0 in the 2 Champions League games that are now underway, including the one that's live on Talksport right now. Chelsea 0-0 with Real Madrid at the Bridge, looking to come back from that 2-0 first leg defeat. Jim Proudfoot and Scott Minto are your commentary team there. Ian Danter and Danny Mills with you here on Talksport 2. Danny Mills behind enemy lines in South Yorkshire. In disguise, he's got his cap on, and his comedy nose and glasses, so he got in all right.
What do you mean, comedy nose and glasses?
That's what Perry Groves uses when he gets into the Tottenham Stadium.
This is me real face.
Oxford 0, Portsmouth 1. Marlon Pack and Portsmouth getting amongst it for the playoffs. 6 points off 6 tonight, but they lead, and Burnley are almost there as champions. Rotherham 0, Burnley 1. Scott Twine. I bet that's from 25 yards if it's Scott Twine. I'd almost be prepared to lay money on that, but it's a long ranger from the former Milton Keynes man.
I'll bet you a cup of tea or coffee for half time.
Okay.
But it's not.
We'll find out. I'll find out. Bit busy at the minute. Ball's out of play for a Sheffield United goal kick away to our right hand.
Bit of nervousness, isn't there?
Oh, you can hear it.
Yeah, and the tension, I think, that maybe the crowd are feeling is just starting to creep onto the pitch a little bit. It's not quite going as planned.
Well, Mansfield Town have responded to that goal that Salford scored. Mansfield are in the final playoff spot in League 2. They lead Newport by a goal to 0. Hiram Boateng for the Stags at Rodney Parade. Salford are already 1-0 up on Hartlepool as they're trying to chase Mansfield down for that final playoff place. Every goal means something tonight around the EFL. I'll try and keep you updated during our commentary. Bristol City have possession, rolling the ball up to Harry Cornick inside his own half, running away from the halfway line, deep into his own half. But it's picked up by Matty James.
And this is why the playoffs are so important, aren't they?
Yes.
Because at this stage of the season, if it wasn't for the playoffs, pretty much be over. There'd be 3 teams left in it, effectively.
Yeah.
That would be it. So the playoffs, love them or hate them, absolutely brilliant. Keep the season going for a lot of clubs. Although it's very, very harsh if you finish 3rd, 7 or 8 points clear of 4th, and
it's even worse in the National League where there's only one automatic spot,
yeah.
Of course.
Well, and then you get
Sam Bell down the left-hand side for Bristol City, overhits the cross. It was a lovely ball to find him, but he just smacked the cross too hard, and it went out of play for a Sheffield United on this near side in their left-back position. 0-0.
What is it when 7th plays 2nd and then someone else plays someone else?
Yeah,
and then
7th plays 6th plays 5th. In fairness, if you finish 2nd, you have less games to play, but it's still only one automatic, which looks like it's going to be Wrexham. They're leading against Yeovil tonight. Notts County aren't playing. Here's George Tanner for Bristol City, firing it in, but it's a poor cross. Chesterfield have scored 2 quick goals against Torquay United in the National League. Torquay have been on a brilliant run to almost get themselves out of trouble with 5 straight wins, but goals from Oliver Banks and Andrew Dallas, who's recently signed from Solihull Moors, have given Chesterfield a 2-0 lead, and Salford are 2-0 up on Hartlepool. Louis Barry in drive for Sheffield United at 0-0, finds McBurney at the edge of the Bristol City penalty area. 29 minutes gone. McBurney trying to make space for a shot, drags it wide with his left foot, and it's a goal kick given. They were appealing for a corner. McBurney's convinced it came off a Bristol City boot, but our referee Jeff Altringham waves it away. And that's another long-range effort that's gone nowhere for Sheffield United.
Yeah, a little bit of desperation, I think, creeping in. I mean, it wasn't a great shot. Not convinced it took a deflection. Just seen it on the replay. No, it wasn't. He dragged it wide. again, snatched at it, went for too much power, tried to hit it too hard, and when you do that, you tend to pull it.
Naki Welsh just sorting out a change of footwear down beneath us in the technical areas.
Oh, he's taken the flip-flops off and he's gone for a pair of football boots. Love a cliche this time of season.
Well, Naki Wells played at Bradford City, so he's another one who knows West Yorkshire better than he knows South Yorkshire. Played for Huddersfield as well.
Yeah, I remember him more playing for Huddersfield.
I think he came through at Bradford. I think that's where he first made his name as a striker. He's changed his boots, he'll be back on in just a sec. We've played for half an hour on Talksport 2. It's goalless at Bramall Lane. Harry Cornick takes the ball neatly around Fleck and comes in field. Lovely run from the former Luton man, trying to thread it through the eye of a needle for Sam Bell, but that's tidied up quite neatly by Ahmed Hodzic. And then Davis looks down the right hand side for Sander Berger, elegant midfielder, just drifts past one challenge. It's a lovely diagonal ball out to Max Lowe on the left hand side for the Blades, tucks it in field for Jack Robinson, who's come forward towards the left hand corner of the box, trying to play through on the underlap for Max Lowe, comes back to Robinson, cross to the far post to McBurney with a standing header, puts it a good couple of yards wide. Goal kick to Bristol City. And the other half of Sheffield Wednesday, are ahead at Bristol Rovers. 2 points off the top, 1 point off second. All the top three playing tonight in League One, and Barry Bannon has scored against Bristol Rovers. That will change things at the top of League One.
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday now top.
Ipswich and Plymouth both playing tonight. Ipswich at home to Port Vale, who've just changed managers, and Plymouth, the leaders, away at Shrewsbury. But you're right, the Owls are on top of the division.
Well, Plymouth and Ipswich obviously have still got a game in hand.
They have
to play that, but you'd rather have points on the board.
And what a potential season for the city of Sheffield if both these clubs win promotion out of their respective divisions.
Yeah, I think Wednesday fans would like it if they were playing Sheffield United next season.
I'm sure they would, but I think they're realistic enough to know that
it ain't going to happen.
That's unlikely to happen at this point. Although,
well, I tell you what,
the nerves continue around here. You can feel it.
If they lost tonight and then got beaten heavily by Manchester City, which is quite conceivable, that could easily happen. We've seen that happen many a time. We saw Bayern Munich get destroyed, for goodness sake.
Sure.
So there's a chance. You just wonder what would happen in that last 4 games.
0-0 on Talksport 2. Barnet take the lead against Solihull Moors in the National League. Barnet, one of those teams in those extraordinary playoffs in the National League.
Yeah, they've got to make sure they win tonight, or at least get a point from this, which at the moment you have to say Bristol City are on top. I'm just working out tonight, imagine if they lost tonight, that's their game in hand gone. They get beaten heavily at the weekend and Luton win.
It can have an effect, of course.
All of a sudden, the points gap is much closer. I know there's a game in hand still to play, but you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, you have to now win that. It's really difficult.
Meantime, game of the day in League 2, Carlisle 0, Stockport 1. That's 5th against 4th. Miles Hippolyte, that's 2-2 for him. He scored at Gillingham at the weekend.
It's a localish derby, isn't it? Carlisle.
It's not that far apart, but it is for Carlisle.
That's what I mean, yeah.
By their standards, it's definitely a local derby. But Stockport level with Carlisle United, 1 goal behind. Boy, oh boy, it's tight up there. But Stockport lead up at Blundell Park. Brunton Park, sorry, Blundell Park.
I got in trouble once.
Yeah.
When Greg Abbott was manager of Carlisle.
Oh yeah.
For saying that it was difficult to attract players because it was a long way away. I'm not sure what part of that isn't true.
Got T-Bay services just round the corner. What more do you want?
It's not just round the corner. It's a long way away.
Again, in relative terms, it is.
Oh, bear in mind, at the time, Greg Abbott was living in Wetherby and was driving 2 hours a day to get there.
Fair play. 33 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Sheffield United looking to inject some tempo into this first half. Very frustrating for Paul Heckingbottom and Stuart McCall down beneath us. Have the ball on halfway. Sutton United 0, Northampton 1. So Northampton in second, 3 points clear of the playoff pack. They're ahead through Lewis Appert. And Wickham lead at Cambridge. Cambridge have been on a great run of late, but Wickham lead at the Abbey through Ryan Taffazoli. Cambridge, who are still in the drop zone, level with Oxford on goal difference, but they're trailing at home to playoff chasing Wickham. Tommy Doyle for Sheffield United turns away from Naki Wells, gets to the halfway line, tucked away by Jack Robinson for the captain, an Irishman, John Egan, who strides purposefully into the Bristol City half. A little slip allows Sheffield United to win it. Backs touched into the area, and a chance. Out comes the keeper and smothers it the second time. No, he has to clear it away. Challenge was made by Illiman and Jai trying to get him behind, but Max O'Leary got enough on the ball to keep it away from Njai, and then pounced on the loose ball.
It looked like he pulled out of that a little bit, Dance, didn't it? I don't know whether he was concerned about giving away a penalty or what it was, but he wasn't convincing Max O'Leary coming out for that, and Njai nearly nicked in front of him.
Meanwhile, Bristol City coming down the other end. It's chipped into the box by Vyman, headed back across the 6-yard line by Sam Bell, but nobody there in a yellow Bristol City shirt to get anything on it. Drops in midfield. Andy King, poor touch. It allowed Tommy Doyle to get it half clear. Out to this near side, and George Tanner back to his half for Zach Viner, and now Cameron Pring. Sunderland lead against Huddersfield in the Championship. Joe Gelhardt, the Leeds man on loan at Sunderland, gives them the lead at the Stadium of Light against Sunderland. Not far off the playoffs, starting the night in 9th. Foul on the Bristol City player, Naki Wells, foul just shy of the halfway line, and the Robins have a free kick. Wells has stayed down. Not sure whether he's going to get treatment or want treatment, but he doesn't look happy, and the referee just saying no, stay on the touchline, physios. He's going to be able to get up of his own volition. It is still Sheffield United 0, Bristol City 0 on Talksport 2, and the air of tension has not dissipated one bit around Bramall Lane, Danny Mills.
No, it hasn't. And they haven't really done anything to alleviate that, in all honesty.
Just that half chance for enjoying there.
It's not like they seem to be lacking a little bit of energy at the moment.
Is it playing within themselves because some of them know they're going to be playing on Saturday against Manchester City, and that's sort of subconsciously playing on their minds? We often accuse footballers of that when they've got a big
You'd like to think not, because we talked about it earlier, they want to be in the Premier League next season. They want to be playing Manchester City twice next season, home and away, and all the other big teams, and earn that right to get up. And you want to do that as quickly as possible. And they said if they do it tonight, you can go for that City game. It's a free hit, isn't it? You know, pretty relaxed. If you lose tonight, don't get it right, and then you play City and you lose that as well, all of a sudden a little bit of doubt starts to creep in.
0-0 at Bramall Lane with just over 11 minutes to half time. Bristol City win the ball on halfway. Tanner down this near side, lovely ball, gets Cornick away, early cross into the edge of the box, it's behind Wells, half volley clear, but straight on the scene is Matty James, and now Jay De Silva pushing forward, left hand side, finds Vyman, strokes it out to the left hand side. Sam Bell up against Baldock, whips across in right foot, it's too deep for anybody in the yellow shirt, and bounces behind for another Sheffield United goal kick, and another, come on, starts from the Cop end away to our right hand side. Oxford have equalised against Portsmouth in League One. Sam Long, no win in 15 for Oxford United, but they're level at the Kazam against playoff chasing Portsmouth. Oxford, remember, only out of the bottom 4 at the start of the night on goal difference. Now Ahmed Hodzic has just kicked the ball straight out of play, trying to thread the ball down the far right hand side of the field in front of the John Street stand, and just presented a throw in to Bristol City. Paul Heckenboxham's got to get into these at half-time, hasn't he?
I was about to say exactly the same thing. He needs to get message on to some of his senior players and say, look, get your foot on the ball, go back to basics. For 5-10 minutes, do the simple thing. Get the ball in the opposition half, let's get in the Bristol half and start playing in there, and let's stop messing about.
It's 0-0. Just over 10 minutes to the break. Ian Dancer and Danny Mills with you on Talksport 2.
It's so important, Dance, this is when you need senior players to take a hold of the game and go, look, forget about what the manager said, forget about what the game plan is, it's not working.
Sure.
We need to change it up a little bit and do something a little bit different, just for 5 or 10 minutes.
You're listening to Sheffield United 0, Bristol City 0 in the EFL, live on Talksport 2 with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. Don't forget, we've got more live football tomorrow night across the network. Bayern Munich, Manchester City on Talksport at 8 o'clock here on Talksport 2. Jim is off to the Riverside. Middlesbrough against Hull is our Talksport 2 Championship commentary tomorrow night here on your home of the EFL. And AC Milan have missed a penalty through Olivier Giroud against Napoli, so it stays 1-0 on aggregate to the Milanese. But in the Diego Maradona, they've missed a massive chance to double their aggregate score. That stays 0-0. Me and Alvin did the first leg last week, Dan. It was brilliant entertainment, that game between those two.
Zlatan be fit for the second?
Well, I'm not sure. No,
semi-final?
No. Well, you might be fit for the semi if they reach it. Yeah. There's a chance. Well, I think he'll give himself every chance, even if the manager doesn't. Free kick to Sheffield.
The thing is, you'd still put him on the bench, wouldn't you?
What, just to scare the others?
Well, no, but he's 10 minutes to go.
No, that's true.
You get a penalty, he's not missing.
No. 10 minutes to half time. It's 0-0 between promotion chasing Sheffield United and a Bristol City side who've given them plenty to think about in this first half, and it's been given away again by Ahmed Hodzic inside his own half. Ball ricochets into the centre circle and it's tidied up by Andy King.
I mean, he might have other things on his mind, Ahmed Hodzic.
Well, yes, of course, we mentioned his wife preparing to give birth to their first child.
And that's why I missed the game. I mean, I wonder what point on Saturday he started to get annoyed, thinking, hang on a minute, I could have played today.
I'm sure when he saw the scoreline at the
I've only said that because I've been in that situation.
Oh, okay.
And I know what it's like. It's like, come on.
You can't say that to your wife. No. Come on.
Hey, I had it. Well, you can. I did.
Oh my God.
My daughter was born in between the semi-finals of the Champions League.
Oh, well, that's good timing on your daughter's part. Here's McBurney for Sheffield United at 0-0. Plays the ball out to the left wing. In comes Max Lowe up towards the edge of the area, carrying the ball forward. Oh, he tried an ambitious drive from the edge of the box, and there were at least 3 Bristol City players in between him and the goal, and it was blocked out for a throw by Andy King. 0-0.
At the moment, if you had no idea about these two sides, you'd put them in reverse positions, wouldn't you? The way that Bristol City are playing, you say, well, they're top. They're creating chances, they just haven't been able to put the ball in the back of the net. Sheffield United at the moment, they're the ones that look sort of devoid of confidence, not quite sure what to do.
Well, they've got a long throw here coming in from Jack Robinson from this left-hand side, and plenty in the 6-yard box, but the ball's gone to the edge of the area. Egan helps
Offside.
It on, an attempted overhead kick by Sander Berger, but went behind for a goal kick. I didn't see the flag go up.
No, I think the referee waved and sort of put his hand there, so I think had it have gone in, it would have been offside.
Chesterfield have a third goal against relegation threatened Torquay United in the National League. It's another for Andrew Dallas. That's his second of the night. So goals in the Championship. West Brom 1-up at Blackpool. Burnley heading for the title, 1-0 up at Rotherham. Sunderland 1-0 up against Huddersfield, but 0-0 here at Bramall Lane, and goalless in the other Championship games. And in League One, Peterborough, Sheffield Wednesday, Bolton and Wickham all 1-up away from home, and Oxford and Portsmouth 1 apiece. Those are the goals we have in League 1. And in League 2, Gillingham 1-0 up on the leaders and 10-man Leyton Orient. Harrogate 1-0 up on Walsall. Mansfield 1-0 up at Newport. Tranmere 1-0 up at potentially relegated Rochdale. Salford 2-0 up against Hartlepool. Stevenage 1-up on Doncaster, and Northampton 1-up at Sutton.
Some big results, isn't there? The bottom of League 2.
Oh boy.
I mean, Harrogate, if it stays as it is, with Hartlepool and Rochdale both losing, Harrogate have almost got themselves out of it. You know, they'll be 6 points clear with a game in hand. 3 games to go.
And up in League 1, Accrington are in further trouble. They're 2-0 down to Peterborough now. Ephraim Mason-Clark has doubled Posh's lead at the Wham Stadium.
At least Mr Durham will be happy.
He will, particularly after they lost.
I was going to say, shh, don't mention that.
No. But Peterborough starting the night in 6th, a point clear of Derby. Millwall 0, Birmingham 1 in that 8 o'clock kick-off in the Championship. Lukas Jutkovic has given Birmingham the lead, and Dagenham and Redbridge 1-0 up at Altrincham in the National League. Another for Ini Effiong. That's his 22nd goal of the season. I mean, you look at Macaulay Langstaff scoring 41 and Paul Mullins scoring 35. Kind of overlooks how good Effiong's been for the Daggers, who are, mid-table. Brilliant performance from him.
Yeah, I think, there are certain players in that league that are maybe a little bit too good for it.
Now, Sheffield United trying to prove they're too good for the Championship. Coming away down the right-hand side with Baldock, and Jai goes down under pressure from Pring, still managed to hook the cross in. No free kick. Fans around us howling for a free kick down the right-hand side of the box, but it's won back by Bristol City, and good strength in the centre circle by Andreas Weimann. Of course, taken off his toe, but illegally so, says the referee. The free kick given to Bristol City bang on halfway, 0-0, as we're in the final minute of normal time in this first half. Sheffield Wednesday have scored a second at Bristol Rovers. Akin from Mayo and Wickham have a second at Cambridge to plunge the U's further into trouble. David Wheeler gets the second for the Chairboys. Now, this Bristol City free kick, as we move into 2 minutes of minimum stoppage time at the end of the first half on Talksport 2. And they've sent one or two forward. Not everyone's gone forward. Some of the centre-halves have stayed back, like Viner. Harry Cornick's the target on the right-hand corner of the box. It's half cleared by Sheffield United, hooked high into the air by John Fleck, comes down onto the head of Naki Wells, flicked on by Sam Bell. Matty James darts down the left-hand side of the area, rolls it back for De Silva, spaced across, headed out to the edge of the area, picked up by George Tanner. Tanner's got McBurney closing him down. Well done, Ollie McBurney, but then in steps Andy King to win it back for Bristol City. Worked out again to Jay De Silva, inside left channel. Deep cross, again it's hit too deep, but it's chested behind by Max Lowe, who didn't get a shout. The locals don't like what Max Lowe did there, but he clearly didn't know.
He should know, but he should know, Dance. If you're the fullback coming in, you've got to open your body up. You've got to know what's behind you. He's completely closed off. His body shape is completely wrong. He's no idea where he is on the pitch or who's behind him, and he chests it out when he's free. He could have just let that go past him, and it would have maybe gone out for a goal kick or even a Sheffield United throw. But suddenly now, with a few seconds to play, they're right under pressure again.
Right on half-time, Bristol City have a corner at the Kop end to our right. It's going to be a right-footed out-swinger coming in from Matty James. Man-to-man marking from Sheffield United. In it comes from James, into the near post. Poor touch from Zach Viner, can't control it, and it's out of play on the full for a goal kick to the Blades, and we're nearly on half-time, 0-0.
Disappointing from Sheffield United. I think Paul Heckingbottom will be delighted to get them in at half-time at 0-0, and they can have a reset, because it really hasn't been good enough at all.
And Jeff Eltringham blows the whistle for half-time, and the response to that, well, you can hear it, it's muted. Bristol City players emerging from the tunnel, and Nigel Pearson, what will he have said to his players at half-time? We've been talking a lot about Sheffield United, and rightly so, Danny Mills, because they're gunning for promotion. But what will Nigel Pearson have said to his players after that first half? Would he be upset with them for wasting opportunities?
I think he'll just say, look, lads, you're playing great. Why haven't I seen this all season? But no, I think there'll be a part of saying, look, you're playing really well at the moment. Keep doing it. Just be a little bit more clinical in the final third, and you can beat this team. Go and throw a spanner in the works. Go and upset the apple cart, and that's all you can really say at this stage of the season.
Change been made by Paul Heckingbottom. He's brought on the Manchester City loanee. James McAtee has come on for John Fleck. They could come in for McAtee tonight. So rather than go with experience, he's gone with youth, Danny Mills.
Well, I think he's trying to get a little bit of creativity in there. Maybe someone to get on the ball. Yeah, Flex wants to get on the ball, but McAtee wants to get on the ball much higher up the pitch, and try and create something. Having said that, those watching or listening on Talksport, on the app, Cucurella has just had an unbelievable chance for Chelsea. Fantastic save by Courtois.
And Olivier Giroud has just given AC Milan the lead right on half-time.
How good is Giroud, by the way?
Well, he's still doing it, isn't he? Amazing. So it's a 2-0 aggregate lead for AC Milan. Now they lead in Napoli by 1-0.
And they will play Man City, is that right? Yes.
Yeah. And it's half-time.
Well,
it's Inter, yeah. It should be a Milanese derby in the semi-final.
Yes.
And it's 0-0 Chelsea Madrid at half-time on Talksport. Back underway here at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United in the red and white stripes with the black shorts and socks, kicking towards the Kop end as they love to do in the second half of games. They've made that one change. It's Bristol City coming forward at the start of the half with Adam Davis, fires it into the box, and Baldock coming in from right wing back gets the ball clear, and Jai trying to deal with a bouncing ball just inside the Bristol City half, trying to wriggle away from a challenge, and he's fouled by Cameron Pring. I'll quickly run you through the lineups for Sheffield United. Davies in goal, Ahmed Hodzic, Egan, Robinson as a back three. Baldock, Berger, McAtee, Lowe, Doyle and Jai and McBurney. As Berger floats the ball out to Max Lowe, left-hand side, far side of the field from us as we sit in the Tony Curry stand. Swinging by Jack Robinson's going to go out on the full for a Bristol City goal kick. Their lineup for Bristol City: O'Leary in goal, a back four of Tanner, Viner, Pring and De Silva, King and James Holding, Cornick, Vyman and Bell behind Wells up front. And McAtee is playing further forward. Doyle is still sitting in a deeper position in this slightly rejigged Sheffield United side at half-time, looking for a bit of a spark.
McAtee sort of playing on them. They've almost dropped to a 4-4-2, haven't they?
Yeah.
He's almost gone on the left-hand, a narrow left midfielder, I guess.
Yeah, sort of parallel with the 18-yard box, sort of the width of that. And here's Doyle. Gets a huge shout of man on as Naki Wells was coming in at him. Still managed to flick it back to George Baldock. He gives it back to Doyle. It's in the centre circle with Sander Berger. The Norwegian just drifts out to the left-hand side, but he's being watched by Vyman. Now here is McAtee scheming forward, gets to 25 yards out, tries to drive. It's an easy save really in the end for Max O'Leary. It was straight at him. He bolted out overarm, finds Harry Cornick inside his own half, lays it off neatly, and then it's floated out to this near side for Jay De Silva. Bristol City in their change strip tonight with the, what I would call the faded Norwich City strip.
Mellow yellow.
Mellow yellow, shirts and socks and...
It's very summery, isn't it?
Short. Yeah, it is actually, yeah. It's actually a yellow, it's quite reminiscent of that yellow that Newcastle had as a deck chair strip. Do you remember when Chris Hughton was manager?
Yes.
He got walloped by Orient before the start of the season and everyone thought Newcastle were going to be dreadful. They've won with over 100 points in the Championship. Now here's McBurney for Sheffield United. Down the left-hand side of the box and Jai in support. Faced up by Viner, has to drip back out to the touchline. Lovely ball back to Sander Berg. Left-hand corner of the area. Tees up Doyle, but then Sam Bell came back, just took the ball off Tommy Doyle's toe as he was preparing to let fly from 25 yards out, and then the ball goes downfield and Sheffield United keeper Davis makes a right haulix of the attempted clearance.
Goalkeepers just make you nervous, don't they? When they come 15-20 yards outside their box, it's only the likes of Edison that you've got any confidence in. Every other keeper you're thinking, oh, this could go anywhere, and it did.
Chesterfield 4, Torquay 0 in the National League. Here goes McAtee for Sheffield United. Ahmed Hodzic on the run, right-hand side, gets a good crossing, headed out to the edge of the area. Might break for Sam Bell here to clear for Bristol City. Does so, onto the chest of Naki Wells, holds it up neatly, can turn it around the corner. The two making a run, right-hand side. It was touched in field by Cornick, for Vyman rather, trying to get Cornick away. But it was intercepted by a Sheffield United player. And when Bristol City get the ball, they do look quickly to get the ball downfield, Danny Mills. 0-0.
Yeah, they're a good team. And I think what they have in their heads is, first pass forward. And that's really important. That doesn't mean just hoofing it at times. Sometimes if you can play the ball 10-15 yards forward and break the lines, you can take 6 or 7 opposition players out of it.
Millwall 0, Birmingham City 1 is a half-time score now in the 8 o'clock kick-off in the Championship at the Den. Altrincham have equalised against Dagenham and Redbridge in the National League. Jordan Hulme gets the equaliser for Altrincham. And Sheffield United conceded a throw to Bristol City out on the far side in front of the John Street stand. Bristol City attacking the Bramall Lane end to our left, where the travelling Bristol City contingent are. Probably no more than 200 or 300, I would say, you made the trip from the West Country.
I'm a little bit surprised. There's plenty of empty seats. I mean, even in the Sheffield United ends. A little bit surprised at that.
Well, there might be a few saving their money for a trip to Wembley at weekend, and that they're London.
Yeah, but you'd have thought, I guess most of them would be season ticket holders, would they not?
Yeah. Well, particularly, I mean, the Cop's full and the John Street opposite us is full. It's just that Bramall Lane in top tier that's not quite packed to the rafters. Was out of play for a Sheffield United throw. Big goal for Derby County, who lead at Exeter in League One. David McGoldrick puts the Rams in front.
He scored some goals this season, hasn't he?
My word, he has, David McGoldrick. 20 that is now in the Championship for David McGoldrick. And that's keeping pressure on the likes of Peterborough and Bolton one of those final playoff places in League One. Now dashing forward for Sheffield United is Baldock. Gets up to the halfway line, held up by Sam Bell, knocks it back to Tommy Doyle, who's got Sam Bell again snapping around his heels trying to win the ball back. Egan, the captain, strokes it out to Robinson. Now Lowe on the far touchline, threads it down the line to Njai inside the Bristol City half. He tried to let the ball run across his body and advance down the left.
It's the radio show that is just cricket. The Cricket Collective, tonight from 10 on Talksport 2. Join a host of ex-players and pundits as they sort the silly short legs from the grubbers and the googlies.
He's going to go back in and bowls it!
In-depth discussion on the latest cricket action and stories that'll knock you for six.
Nicked again. Oh, it's brilliant!
Incisive insight and laser-guided analysis from the world's most informed cricket experts.
That is magnificent.
The Cricket Collective, tonight from 10 on Talksport 2.
The playlist on Talksport 2. Top flight football conversation for the sporting nation.
He's going to be half fit at best.
Yeah, at best,
At best, half fit.
All the big name views, news and opinions that matter.
This bloke's too good at football for me.
Pull up your socks, lace up your boots and get stuck in.
They did win, and they won quite comfortably.
Get all the big fever pitch build-up all in one mammoth sporting session.
Just give me the points. I want to be in front of them.
The playlist, Friday afternoon from 5 on Talksport 2. Live Gallagher Premiership Rugby on Talksport 2. Sunday afternoon from 3.
Looping around and the left winger will score.
Tough tackling rugby union commentary as Saracens take on London Irish.
The Polar brothers combine with each other. Mako places it back. Farrell fires it to the left-hand side to Alex Good. And now to Lewing.
And we're back at Bramall Lane. Apologies for the slight break in transmission. Nothing's happened of any great note here at Bramall Lane whilst you were gone. It's still Sheffield United 0, Bristol City 0. 8 minutes gone in the second half. Big goal in League One though. Shrewsbury Town 1, Plymouth Argyle 0. Kean Phillips for the Shrews. Plymouth started the night top. Definitely being usurped by Sheffield Wednesday as things stand.
I mean, wait, who'd have thought it? Plymouth and Ipswich losing.
And Sheffield Wednesday in front. It's all going the Owls' way.
If Barnsley can nick a goal.
Challenge on James McAtee on this near side by Cameron Pring, and a yellow card for Cameron Pring for that challenge.
He's a very good player, McAtee, but he doesn't invite challenges with his socks around his ankles like that. Even now, there's still something about it.
Well, him and McBurney have the same look, don't they? That sort of Jack Grealish.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Steve Claridge socks around the ankles thing.
You're almost making yourself a target, I think, at times. And I know you can't chop people down like you used to, but even still.
Free kick to Sheffield United, about 25 yards from the byline, but only 2 or 3 yards in from this near touchline as they attack the Cop end. And McAtee and Doyle are both standing over it. The two Manchester City loanees. It's Doyle who whips it in. And O'Leary punches clear, and he was fouled as he got the punch clear. Spotted by the referee. And it's a free kick to Bristol City. And there's a Sheffield United player down injured. Just looking to see who that is.
Hodzic is down.
It is Anel Ahmed Hodzic. He's down, just thumping his left foot into the turf.
Did he take one in the face? Yeah, I think he did. He took an elbow. Good goalkeeping, to be honest. Goalkeeper's positive. He comes for the cross. He gets the punch on the ball, but as Hodzic comes in, it's the goalkeeper's arm, his elbow, that collides, maybe into his head, maybe into his shoulder.
Treatment being administered.
Yeah, it lands a little bit awkwardly. Oh, that'd be a sore one.
Rochdale 0, Tranmere 2. Josh Hawkes with a penalty for Tranmere. It's a bad night for Rochdale. Ipswich have equalised at home to Port Vale in League One. That's 1-1 at Portman Road. Nathan Broadhead.
That's them up to second.
It is. And Northampton are 2-1 up now at Sutton. And that's Mitch Pinnock who's got Northampton's second. Sutton 1, Northampton 2. Carlisle equalise at home to Stockport County. John Mellish with the equaliser for Paul Simpson's men. Still waiting for the action to get back underway here because there's still treatment being administered to Anel Ahmed Hodzic. Max O'Leary's back on his feet, and Ahmed Hodzic just holding the his right shoulder as you...
I think it might have been as he landed.
Yeah.
He did take, there's a little bit of a knock to the face, but it's one of those, as he's jumping, you get knocked and he almost lands flat on his back, on his shoulder, almost parallel to the floor.
Stoke 0, Wigan 1. Maybe Wigan aren't done quite yet. Will Keane has put the Latics in front at the sparsely attended Bet365, as you heard Jeff Peters mention earlier in his half-time report. Not many Stoke fans have ventured out tonight, but Wigan lead in the Potteries through Will Keane. And that's a big goal that I mentioned from John Mellish for Carlisle. That's 5th against 4th, remember, Carlisle, Stockport. So 1-1 there. Back underway here on Talksport 2 at Bramall Lane with 11 minutes gone since the restart. It's still 0-0 between Sheffield United chasing automatic promotion, trying to put an even bigger buffer than they already have between themselves and Luton and Middlesbrough in the chasing pack. But as it stands, they're only going to be 6 points clear with the point they're getting tonight, and they will no longer have any games in hand, and there will be 12 further points to play for.
It still should be enough, but I just say it's just that caveat that if they get beaten heavily at the weekend against Manchester City, Luton were to win their game, all of a sudden the pressure's right back on them.
Bristol City win the ball inside their own half. Neat turn from Harry Cornick just inside the halfway line. Loses possession, but a foul on halfway by Vyman. That didn't look like a foul to me. I think you agree with me, Danny Mills.
He dives in from the side, from behind, wins the ball. Simple as that.
That's what I thought he'd done. You're listening to Sheffield United 0, Bristol City 0 in the EFL, live on Talksport 2 with Carling, the UK's number 1 lager, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Sheffield United work the ball into the Bristol City half, only about 10 yards inside it, and then they have to go back for their captain John Egan in the centre circle. Robinson plays the ball along the deck to the feet of McAtee on as a second half substitute. Now Doyle on the halfway line. Everybody in Bristol City yellow back behind the ball. Doyle being hassled and harried by Naki Wells, and actually Bristol City want to throw because Wells would not give it up. And the Robins thought about taking a quick throw, but then realised, no, let's take our time and frustrate the locals that little bit more. 0-0 the score.
I have to say, up to this point, nearly an hour gone, Bristol City have been the better side.
Here's Matty James tossing the ball down the right-hand side, looking to get Andy Vyman away, but it's out of play for a throw to Bristol City. Remember, a win takes Bristol City, if they got it here tonight, to the same points total as last season with 4 games to play. So at least in that sense, Danny Mills, Nigel Pearson could definitely argue that there's been progress at the club, and he's blooded quite a few youngsters
definitely
this season to give them their opportunities.
And you have to be realistic and think about, getting promoted from this league is very, very difficult. Finishing in the top half towards the playoffs actually is probably, you're right, progress for them.
Long throw coming in for Bristol City in a minute.
Huddersfield equalised?
Huddersfield have equalised through Josh Corrimer at Sunderland. That's 1-1. Yellow card for Harry Cornick for taking an eternal... I know.
Legend, isn't he? Talksport legend.
He is an extraordinary manager. He just knows how to get results, and he's got Huddersfield level at the Stadium of Light. Harry Cornick's been booked for taking a long time to prepare this throw. Burton have equalised against Bolton at the Pirellian League One. That's 1 apiece. Here comes the long throw from Cornick into the near post, headed out to the edge of the area, and Sheffield United just volley it clear through Tommy Doyle. And Jai was on halfway, but the ball got away from him, and Jay De Silva worked it back to his keeper O'Leary. Long ball downfield, headed up to halfway by Sheffield United, but Bristol City win it back. Not once, but twice.
Isn't it strange? We always talk about football, how cyclical it is. I've seen more long throws in this game than I have for the last 10 years, I think. But why wouldn't you use it? It's no different from a cross into the box. If you had a cross out wide, you play a free kick into the box.
It seems to me that every team now has a long throw specialist. Now, long ball played downfield straight, looking to get Naki Wells in behind Egan. Egan stays on his feet, does well, wins the ball back for Sheffield United. Fired into the feet of Njai, just inside the Bristol City half. An hour gone on Talksport 2. 0-0 it remains at Bramall Lane, and the tension's still there, and Bristol City have won it back. Brilliant challenge from Egan as Naki Walsh was looking threatening coming forward, but it's with Andy King out to the left-hand side of the area. Sam Bell with another cross that's fired far too hard across the face of goal. That's the third or fourth time that Sam Bell's been in that position and just not been able to control the cross, and it's out of play for a throw to Sheffield United. 0-0.
Yeah, he hasn't quite had that composure in the final third. He's been in some good situations, some good positions. Great ball to pick him out by Andy King. As you say, just slashed at it.
Yeah.
But going back to the long throw scenario, all teams now have set piece coaches, or most of them do.
Yep.
A throw-in is just a set piece. And when you think of the athletic ability in this day and age, which is great, much higher even than I played, you're thinking, well, yeah, probably every team should have at least one player that can launch the ball into the box. So why would you not use it?
Jurgen Klopp's got a throw-in coach.
Well, but why not?
Cambridge 1, Wickham 2. Cambridge get a goal back at the Abbey through Sam Smith. Here comes Sheffield United with McAtee down the right-hand side. Loses possession. Bristol City playing neat little triangles in their left-back position, and Cameron Pring sends it long downfield, but straight onto the instep of Anel Ahmedhodzic. Now Robinson strokes it out to Max Lowe just over the halfway line. Left-hand side, 0-0. Change is being readied by Bristol City down beneath us. Meantime, Baldock finds Njai, plays a 1-2. Baldock inside the area, plays it across, it won't drop for a red and white striped shirt, and Jay De Silva plays it out to Vyman, who very calmly chips it up to halfway but can't find a teammate. Egan's back there to send it back down the right. Lovely ball, it's going to stay in play. Brilliant ball, and Jai to the byline, pulls it back to the edge of the area. Baldock chops onto his left foot, tees it up for Berger over the bar. Best chance Sheffield United have had. It's taken him 63 minutes to create a chance like that, and Sander Berger from the edge of the D fires it just over. 0-0.
Yeah, Baldock with a couple of chances, got himself into the box on a couple of occasions. Looked on both occasions, looked like he thought about maybe going down for a penalty, but stayed on his feet, rolled it square to Sander Berger just on the edge of the D. He's trying to bend it with pace into the top corner. In all fairness, it just kicks up a little bit off the turf, and it goes about a foot over the crossbar.
Change has been readied by Bristol City, but the referee's either not heard the linesman or is not ready to accept Tommy Conway and Mark Sykes onto the field for the Robins. So
there's no excuse for that, is there?
No.
They've got earpieces in. There's a goal kick. Make the substitution.
Hat-trick for Andrew Dallas for Chesterfield as they lead Torquay by 5-0. Just south of here. Ball's going to go out of play, is it? No, it's well kept in by Baldock, and Jai giving chase, but it's tidied up by Cameron Pring and back to his goalkeeper. On the ball hit by O'Leary against Njai, and he has to punch it clear out to this near touchline, and Bristol City do manage to keep it in play. Flicked on by Bell. Vyman volleys it infield, but it'll drop for Sander Berger, will it? Gets there ahead of Cornick. Now Lowe finds McBurney, runs into trouble. Pring wins it back. McBurney stayed down, wanting a free kick. Nothing doing, says the referee. Wells with a little turn in the centre circle. He's fouled by Robinson. That's a free kick for Bristol City, and now the changes can be made. And Naki Wells is one of the players that's coming off for Bristol City to allow Tommy Conway to come on. Breakthrough season for the academy graduate, just 20 years of age. And Mark Sykes is also coming on for Harry Cornick. He's just back from a 4-game suspension. Sykes came on a free from Oxford United last June. So that's the double change being made by Nigel Pearson to freshen things up for Bristol City with 25 minutes to go on Talksport 2, and it's still 0-0, Danny Mills.
Yeah, last 5 minutes it's got a little bit raucous. Sheffield United had a couple of chances, 1 or 2 challenges starting to fly in. Crowd getting behind Sheffield United. I think Bristol City just going to try and calm themselves down a little bit.
Harry Cornick's just given the 4th official a volley for not spotting that substitution early, and Nigel Pearson's had to lead him away. Now Jason Yule's having a word with the 4th official as well.
Officials don't help themselves at times.
Milton Keynes 0, Charlton 1. Jack Payne for Charlton. And Wrexham lead beleaguered Yeovil by 1-0 in the National League. Anthony Ford with the goal for Wrexham. 1 point clear of Notts County. 1 foot in the EFL for Wrexham, the Hollywood club. Sheffield United would like 1 foot in the Premier League if they possibly can, but it doesn't look like it's happening tonight. Bristol City coming forward with Andreas Weimann. Looks for Conway down the left-hand side. The ball was a bit telegraphed, and it was good defending by John Egan to step in front and win the ball off Conway, and then by a foul. Free kick.
Well, suddenly now Sheffield United, there's a little bit of urgency.
Well, look how busy the technical areas are now down beneath us. You know, you've got so much interest from all the coaches involved in trying to negotiate the result that they want for their team. Bristol City in possession on the halfway line. Weimann can't keep control of the ball, goes back to halfway, but again a foot in, this time from Matty James. Heads it down for George Tanner. Shrewsbury 1, Plymouth 1. Plymouth equalised at the Greenhouse Meadow through Joe Edwards. Plymouth, remember, started the night top of the pile in League One, but Sheffield Wednesday are having the best night of all those top three sides, winning their game at Bristol Rovers. Here's Sheffield United coming forward with McBurney. Oh, he'll never latch onto that ball from McAtee. It's overhit down the left-hand side down the right-hand side of the box, and it's out of play for a goal kick. Blackpool 0, West Bromwich Albion 2. You heard Steve Hothersall mention that Taylor Gardner-Hickman got a start tonight, or got in for an injury. He scored Albion's second. I remind you that West Brom against Sunderland, live on Talksport 2 with us Sunday lunchtime. Rochdale get a goal back. It might not be enough, but they make it Rochdale 1, Tranmere 2 at Spotland. Danny Lloyd with the goal back for Dale. But their fate might well be sealed this evening, Rochdale. Goal kick for Bristol City meantime, midway through the second half. Still Sheffield United 0, Bristol City 0, and we're still waiting, Danny Mills, for Paul Heckingbottom to shuffle his pack a little bit further from the bench. He's made that one change at half-time to bring on McAtee for Fleck. I wonder what else he might think he's got up his
hasn't
sleeve.
really had too much impact as he picks the ball. Oh, he's giving the ball away
to Jay Da Silva. And he plays it out to Sam Bell, right in front of those technical areas on this near side to us. Infield looking for Da Silva. Egan steps in, does really well, the Sheffield United captain, keeps in play again, and Njai, all on his own, waits for George Baldock to join in, trying to thread it infield to him, but again, there are enough yellow Bristol City shirts around.
It's good, Andy King, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's got such a vast experience, so composed in the middle of the park, really does make Bristol City tick.
0-0 here. You mentioned Harrogate, they're 2-0 up now on Walsall.
Cruising.
Now down the right-hand side, Bristol City send the ball into the box. It's fired away by John Egan. There were two Bristol City players behind him in Weimann and Conway. It was a good whip cross from the right-hand side by Mark Sykes, and it's out of play for a Bristol City throw on that far side.
Harrogate get treated to a Betty's breakfast in the morning at this rate. Might send the club bankrupt, but...
Well, Betty's Tea Rooms, always worth a visit. Simon Weaver.
I'm still waiting you
for my... Well, next time I'm there,
so I can treat you.
Don't worry, next time I'm up.
On your way through.
The last time I was up there, you didn't take me to Betty's Tea Rooms. You took me to a less...
We had a power cut and all sorts, didn't we?
We did.
Wasn't a good night for us.
No, it was a sweaty palms, that was, with technical all sorts of whiz-bangery at Weatherby Road. We've had a little bit tonight. Apologies for being off air for a minute or so.
I think the listeners probably quite liked it.
Ian Dancer and Danny Mills with you on your home of the EFL Talksport 2. Sheffield United 0, Bristol City 0. 20 minutes to go. The tension comes around the stadium again. Foot in from Bristol City on halfway. They've got men in behind. Out comes Adam Davis. Sweeper keeper with a great starting position, because Sykes and Conway were on their bikes for a ball turned round the corner on halfway. Good starting position from the keeper.
Yeah, it was. He did really well. Really important to make that clearance. Two players charging him down.
And now, good defending by Ahmed Hodzic to protect the ball from Sam Bell, and Sheffield United have a goal kick. Altrincham 2-1 up on Dagenham and Redbridge. 20 minutes to go then. 26,000 476 here at Bramall Lane, and most of them have had precious little to shout about in these 70 minutes. Just that one flashing effort from Sander Berger in this second half of the Blades, for example.
Made a save of any note?
No, not that I can think. He's had to punch clear from a couple of corners.
Yeah, and a couple of crosses that have come in, but he's not.
No, he's not.
Not had to make a save as such, has he?
No.
There's been a couple that have dribbled back to him.
I mean, neither's Adam Davis, save for that shot that was hit straight at him by Cornick in the first half.
But Bristol City don't need to win the game. They're not desperate to win this game.
But they're coming forward, Bristol City, with Jay Da Silva down this near side, midway point of the Sheffield United half. Vyman spots a run down the right-hand side of Tanner, but he couldn't get past Max Lowe. Ball's back on halfway, but it's still with Bristol City. Slightly heavy touch from Cameron Pring, but he keeps it away from McBurney. Now King slides a lovely ball out to the right-hand side, and Conway goes down.
They just ran into him. Simple as that. You can't run through people at any level. You've got to move the ball.
It's actually Mark Sykes, if you'll forgive me, down that right-hand side, who ran into trouble. Now Sheffield United have it back, but they're still in the run half. Double change coming up in a minute for the Blades. Oliver Norwood and Billy Sharp will be on very shortly. Meantime, George Baldock.
I'll tell you what, if Sheffield United play like this against Manchester City, they're going to get beat about 8-0.
Well, yes.
Because I guarantee Manchester City won't be this wasteful in front of goal.
Sander Berger drifting into the centre of the Bristol City half. To our right, Sheffield United attacking the Cop end. Well, they're trying to attack the Cop end, but they're not really showing much about it. And now a long-range effort from Tommy Doyle from the centre of the half. Goes a couple of yards wide of the keeper's right-hand post, and now a double change for Sheffield United, and Ollie McBurney is being replaced by Billy Sharp. The other change will see Oliver Norwood to try and inject some creativity from midfield, and he is coming on for Tommy Doyle, who's just had that long-range effort.
Maybe he knew.
Maybe he did know. And also Bristol City are making a further change, and their very talented young midfielder Alex Scott is going to come on to replace Sam Bell. This Alex Scott is the kid that Pep Guardiola made special mention of when Bristol City lost to Manchester City in the FA Cup at the back end of February. And Real Madrid have scored against Chelsea. It is now 3-0 on aggregate, live over on Talksport, and that may well be that.
Well, Todd Bowley said 3-0, didn't he?
He did. Rodrigo got it. Now Sheffield United coming forward. Billy Sharp, as out comes Max O'Leary, the keeper, to the edge of the area. Only cleared as far as Baldock, who's striding forward. Down the right-hand side of the box. Billy Sharp looks for Baldock, who couldn't tap it home from close range. Comes out to the left-hand side. Here's Njai, looking for a target. Sander Berger, left-hand corner of the box. Clips it back to Ahmed Hodzic. Might have a go for goal here. No, he lays it off instead. Clipped back into the box and headed behind for a corner kick by Bristol City, and suddenly Bramall Lane believes a little bit more. Corner kick, I think it's their first of the second half for Sheffield United. 0-0 with just over a quarter of an hour to go.
Yeah, there's been no great urgency throughout the whole game. There's been two spells of 2 or 3 minutes. That's about it, really. They've got to have more quality. Got to have more fight.
Norwood with the corner kick, whips into the near post, headed out to the right-hand corner of the box, where it's retrieved by Baldock. First time ball deep to the far post, headed back across the face of goal and out by Bristol City, and they just put it out of play for a throw. But Sheffield United just trying to hem Bristol City in here with a quarter of an hour to play. Derby have got a second at Exeter. David McGoldrick with his and Derby's second. Long throw coming in from the far side. Jack Robertson's just going to hurl this into the box from level with the edge of the area. Up go the heads. It's a Bristol City head that gets to it first. Scott guides it down for Andy King, and then Tommy Conway's giving chase down the right-hand side, but keeper gets there first. I'm not sure whether Tommy Conway believed he could beat Adam Davis to the ball. It's out for a throw on the far side to Bristol City. 0-0.
It almost looked like if I really go for this, I'm going to get clattered. He just eased up, didn't he, at the end?
Grimsby 1, Barrow 0. Barrow 4 points off 6, but they're behind at Blundell Park to Danny Orsi-Dadomo of Grimsby Town. Throw into Bristol City on the far side. And again, it's gone quiet inside this stadium. We mentioned there's 26,000 here, but there's a lot of contemplation going on at the minute around Stanley Mills.
There's a real nervousness, isn't there?
Ball hit long down.
They're so close. I mean,
Yeah,
they haven't played well tonight, but still 0-0. Nick a goal here, win this game,
and it all gets forgotten.
and it's a foot and a half in the Premier League.
Exeter get a goal back at home to Derby County. Exeter 1, Derby 2, Jack Sparks. Ian Dancer and Danny Mills with you. Here's Njai for Sheffield United to about 25 yards out. Checks onto his left, rolls it into the area. Chance for a goal. It's there! Sheffield United hit the front. Finally. As we reach the last quarter of an hour of this game. And James McAtee, the coolest man inside Bramall Lane, rolled in by Njai. Such unselfish play by Iliman Njai, who was central inside the box, could have taken a shot himself, but he waited till he got to the edge of the D, played it left to McAtee, and he smacked it home from the left-hand side of the box past Max O'Leary, and suddenly there's a huge sense of relief around Bramall Lane after 77 minutes of torture. It's Sheffield United 1, Bristol City 0.
It's a really good finish. He's the first player to show a little bit of composure in front of goal. Chance comes to him on the angle, sort of the corner of the 6-yard box. He has a touch, sets himself, almost has a breath, and then slides it into the far corner. A really cool, good finish. I think the build-up was a little bit fortunate, if I'm honest. And Dye was looking for a shot, and as we said earlier, he twisted one way then the other. He cut back onto his left foot and the shot was on, but he's so reluctant to hit it on his left foot. He had another touch, still didn't want to hit it, and then always had to make the pass out to McAtee. But when he did, fantastic finish from McAtee.
It's his 8th goal of the season in the Championship, James McAtee. Here's Alex Scott, though, for Bristol City as the Robins try to respond. Scott's gone down at the edge of the area. It's a free kick awarded to Bristol City, almost at the right-hand corner of the box. So a chance for the visitors to see what they can do from a set piece right around the Sheffield United 18-yard box.
Really dangerous position. Difficult for the shot. It's right on the corner of the 18-yard box, and unless you've got a left footer that can whip this over the wall, it's a tough one. Might just be a little bit of a dink into the middle of the goal and fight it out.
Well, Alex Scott, who was fouled, is the player standing over it. It's not quite at the right-hand corner of the penalty area. It's just slightly along the edge.
Like he's going to shoot, and try and whip it near post. That's the sort of run-up he's got.
Yeah, he's standing quite square onto the ball. Sheffield United holding their line about 8 yards out. Scott tried to whip it in past the two-man wall, blocked away and thumped downfield. Wrexham 2, Yeovil 0. James Jones for Wrexham. Mansfield 2 up at Newport. And Gillingham have got a second against 10-man Leyton Orient. A penalty, Che Alexander. Gillingham 2, Leyton Orient 0. Champagne definitely on ice for the O's tonight. Harrogate 3, Walsall 0 at Wetherby Road.
It's interesting. I picked that up, that little tip off Nigel Martin. Fantastic goalkeeper as he was. Always used to pick a run-up and used to pick out players, used to take free kicks. Used to read David Beckham like nobody else, because obviously basically was always putting goal for the free kicks when we were away with England.
Yeah.
Always used to notice. He would know which corner Becks was going in by where his left arm went. If his left arm went high,
yes,
he'd be going over the wall. If it stayed low, he'd be going in the other corner. Incredible, these little things that goalkeepers pick up.
Did you write about his water bottle? Something to do with the penalties?
No, I didn't need that. It was in his head.
1-0 to Sheffield United. 10 minutes to go on Talksport 2. Pressure valve released with that goal from James McAtee. Here's George Baldock. Level with the edge of the area, right-hand side. Cross-fired in by Norwood. O'Leary's missed it. It's a foul on the keeper. Njai's put it into the back of the net, but it won't stand. Max O'Leary was barged out of the way. You heard Danny Mills call it as the ball.
It's a clothesline
over his head. It was a wrestling move. Yeah.
I mean, I know goalkeepers get a little bit of protection from time to time, but that was just a blatant clothesline. Took him out completely.
Chesterfield 5, Torquay 1. Comebacks on for Torquay. Britt McGavin. Altrincham 2, Dagenham and Redbridge 2. Daggers equalised through George Saunders. Here at Bramall Lane, we're into the last 10 minutes on Talksport 2. It is Sheffield United 1, Bristol City 0. Live tomorrow, Bayern Munich against Manchester City in the quarter-final second leg at 8. Also at 8 over on Talksport 2, Middlesbrough against Hull City. And live cricket's back on Talksport 2 as well. We brought our first IPL commentary of the day today with the Rajasthan Royals against the Mumbai Indians. And Ian O'Brien and Monty Panesar are part of our team. More IPL cricket for you tomorrow and Thursday afternoon. Our coverage starts each day at 2:30 in the afternoon. Here at Bramall Lane, Andres Ryman giving chase just to the edge of the area, and Adam Davis again.
To you, to me, it was a bit of a who's going to come for it.
Him and Egan got in a bit of a...
Just make a decision, one of you.
Well, it was Davis in the end who did make the decision to strike it clear as Wrexham go 3-0 up on Yeovil Town, who are heading back to the National League South.
Is that Wrexham up? Not quite, is it?
Not quite. Paul Mullin gets his 36th of the season. Now here is Njai getting down the left-hand side of the box, tries to pull it across. Looking for McAtee. It's been well blocked. Tries to send another cross in. It's too high for Sander Bergen, but he will go out and collect the ball on this near side for Sheffield United. Just slows the game down for a moment. Rolls the ball back to Norwood. Norwood back to halfway, and with Sheffield United in front, they can afford to play with a bit more precision and slow the tempo down a little bit. They've got the advantage that they so desperately craved.
Well, they've been playing at a slow tempo all night. I have to say, a win's a win. You know, 3 points is the most important, but I think they have to consider themselves a little bit fortunate.
Yeah. Oldham 2, Southend 0 at Boundary Park in the National League. Ellis Chapman for Oldham.
You know, sometimes in a single game of football, you don't always get what you deserve. You know, that's why the league is so important. Over the course of 38 or 46 games, you finish where you deserve.
Here's Sander Berger, 30 yards out, runs into Jay De Silva, who wins it back for Bristol City. Vyman, his captain, looks for De Silva again, who moves over the halfway line, slips it down the inside left channel, bringing Tommy Conway into the game. Now it's down the left-hand side with Mark Sykes. Sykes lays it off to De Silva. De Silva gives it back to Sykes, level with the edge of the box, right-footed ball in, good ball, headed up in the air to the edge of the box. Bristol City trying to keep it alive, but it's headed clear by the captain Egan. Billy Sharp holds it up, turns away from Tanner, fires the ball over the halfway line looking for McAtee, but that's intercepted by Cameron Pring. Carlisle lead against Stockport, 2-1 to Carlisle. Owen Moxon in that big game in League 2. Here's Alex Scott for Bristol City, plays the ball with the outside of his boot across the box. It's only half cleared, and then George Tanner with a cross from the right-hand side. That lands on the roof of Adam Davis's net, and Sheffield United have a goal kick. 6 minutes of normal time to go on Talksport 2, as there's a real conference between Nigel Pearson and his backroom staff in the technical area. Sheffield United still lead by a goal to nil. Danny Mills.
Yeah, Sheffield United will be consider themselves very, very fortunate, I would say, this evening. They haven't played particularly well. Doesn't always matter at this stage of the season. You have to say, good substitutions. McAtee came on, the one player that's had a little bit of composure in front of goal. And Dye's been dangerous, he's been lively. Clearly he's got no left foot, doesn't want to go on the left-hand side at all. That's where the goal came from. He didn't want to shoot with his left foot. The chance was there for him, he waited, and unfortunately McAtee was on his outside. He rolled the ball to him, and McAtee slotted it home.
Billy Sharp wins a free kick as he's bundled over by Jay De Silva. So the Blades have a free kick on this near side, just next to their technical area. 5 minutes to go of normal time on Talksport 2. And Bristol City are preparing to make another change, and they're going to be bringing on Anis Mehmeti, a recent signing of theirs, joined on a 3.5-year deal from Wickham in January, and he's coming on late on for, well, it says number 2. There is no number 2 for Bristol City. It's number 3. It's Jay De Silva is coming off, is it? No, they got the numbers wrong. I mean,
How difficult is it? Do you know what?
Very difficult.
And, well, it's not. I saw this. I was at an under-21s game last week. The sending off. He sent the young kid off on the far side of the pitch.
Yes.
Made him walk round all the way, and then wouldn't restart the game until he'd gone down the tunnel on this near side.
That's a bit Jobsworth.
Well, why not just send him off this side? Let him walk across the pitch. I mean, referees, they don't help themselves at times, do they? How can you get the number wrong?
Well, it was George Tanner, number 19, who they were trying to take off.
Yeah, to be fair, it's like a 2, isn't it?
Very much like a 2. But anyway, Anis Mehmeti is on, and there's only 4 minutes of normal time to play. Conway giving chase for a ball sent up to halfway by Bristol City. Ipswich lead late on against Port Vale. 2-1. Nathan Broadhead with a penalty.
Broadie.
And Burnley lead at Rotherham. Maybe that's the title for the Clarets. Manuel Benson. Rotherham 1, Burnley 2. So Rotherham are safe towards the foot of the Championship. All sorts of changes with every goal that goes in. But the important goal here has gone to Sheffield United. Here's Mehmeti though for Bristol City down the left-hand side of the area. Crosses blocked, comes out to De Silva. Hugging this near touchline for Bristol City, trying to get away from Sander Berger, sticking to him like glue. Rolls it back to Cameron Pring. Pring has to turn away from Njai and play the ball back into his own half. Stockport equalise at Carlisle. It's 2-2 at Brunton Park now. Connor Lemonhay Evans equalises for Stockport.
And Burnley are all but champions, aren't they?
Here comes the cross from Bristol City down the right-hand side. Davis prevents the corner. 3 minutes remain. And there's lots of sharp intakes of breath here from the Sheffield United faithful.
They put themselves in the box seat. You know, Sheffield United are now 8 points clear of Luton. 12 points to play for.
Yeah.
You know, Burnley now 12 points clear of Sheffield United with 12 points to play for. So that would have to be a complete disaster for them not to be champions. So I think we're looking at Sheffield United now going to be a Premier League team next season.
8 points will be the gap to Luton Town with this 3 points that Sheffield United are picking up. Swindon 1, Bradford 0. Johnny Williams for Swindon Town late on.
That's what I mean, unless Luton have some really big scores in the next 4 games,
yeah,
you have to say Sheffield United just need a point from their 4 games.
Now down the left-hand side of the box for Bristol City, Anis Mehmeti drives the ball into the box, cleared away by Robinson. Great defending, and Njai, ever willing, getting up to halfway, tries to nutmeg Cameron Pring on this near touchline, but can't get past him. So it ends up being a throw to Sheffield United, who are about to bring on Daniel Jebison for the last minute of normal time, plus whatever Jeff Elchingham wants to add on for stoppages. And he's coming on for Iliman Njai, who doesn't realise that his number's up, and he's just been told. So Njai coming off. Lots of endeavour from Iliman Njai tonight. No goal for him this evening, the top scorer. But he's never hit, he never hides, does he, Danny Mills, as a player? He's always available.
He's been a threat, he's had a good go, just sometimes lacks a little bit of quality in the final third. You just wonder now, Paul Heckingbottom were thinking, right, squad that I've got, who's good enough for the Premier League? And actually it'll be a real test now on Saturday in the FA Cup to say, look, let's have a look against the very, very best of the Premier League. Let's see which of this squad can stand up to that.
Rotherham have equalised again against Burnley. 2-2. Georgie Kelly, the young Irishman who scored his first goal for Rotherham when they won promotion at Gillingham on the final day last year. He's made it 2-2 at the New York Stadium. And Accrington Stanley have got a goal back against Peterborough. Sean McConville, but it's Accrington 1, Peterborough 2. Ahmed Hodzic just fires the ball out of place. 5 minutes of added time that we're about to go into here.
Where's that come from?
Substitutions mostly, I would say. Now down the left-hand side of the box, it's Billy Sharp clipping the ball across, it's behind Jebison. Cleared out to the edge of the box, McAtee, who scored the goal. Back down the left-hand side, Billy Sharp fires it straight into the gloves of Max O'Leary at the Bristol City keeper's near post.
Has he got his landmark goal yet?
No. Oh, you mean in terms of...
wasn't he on to like 249 league goals or something?
Yeah, I think he may still be on that. He's not scored for a while, Billy Sharp. Newport 1, Mansfield 2. Newport get a late goal back against the Stags. Aaron Wildig.
I'm sure I've heard you say that while I've been in the car driving somewhere.
Now, left-hand side, it's Anis Mehmeti for Bristol City. Wins a corner. Does it? No, it's a throw. Right at the corner flag, down this near side. So we're in added time. 5 minutes minimum has been added on by the referee. 1-0 to Sheffield United, and Jay De Silva's not taking the throw from the right place. He's got to go right next to the corner flag to take it. 1 or 2 drifting away from Bramall Lane, but many chewing their nails, hoping that these 3 points can be clung onto. But here's Cameron Pring for Bristol City.
Sport.
Balotelli's going here. Balotelli's going to be sent off here.
And the t-shirt simply says, "Why always me?"
Di Canio, ever the showman, is saying, "Take me off, substitute me." Incredible!
And we're back. Sorry, another little technical gremlin here at Bramall Lane, but missed none of the action. We are in the second minute of a minimum of 5 that's been added on. Sheffield United 1, Bristol City 0.
I've just had a quick look at the table.
Go on.
West Brom are into the playoff position.
They are.
They've jumped up 5 places.
What a night for the Baggies, who are 2-0 up at Blackpool.
And they've got a game in hand over Millwall. Blackburn have got 2 games in hand over them. Still so tight in this division.
Lots to be decided, certainly for the playoffs. Bristol City have won a free kick inside the Sheffield United half. Only, 8 or 9 yards inside it, but a chance to load the box. Rochdale equalised 2-2 right on full time. Ethan Ebanks Landell with a vital equaliser for Dale. A point may keep them alive just for a little while longer in League 2. De Silva with the Bristol City free kick into the box, headed out to the left-hand side of the penalty area where there's nobody in a Bristol City shirt. It's collected by Billy Sharp, just fires it downfield. McAtee is the furthest player forward, but back there defending is Jay De Silva. Long straight ball hit downfield for the Robins. Comes out to Zach Viner, can't control it, but Matty James tries to pick up the loose ball. He's forced to throw out of Sheffield United. So we played 3 minutes of the minimum 5. Here's Alex Scott. Gets dispossessed by a lovely challenge by Max Lowe. Sharp lays the ball off, and now Jebison getting chased down the left-hand side, keeps the ball in play, tries to roll the challenge to Pring. Jebison trying to show strength, it's only half cleared. Billy Sharp drags it wide with his left from the edge of the area. Snatched at it, and it goes behind for a goal kick. 1-0 Sheffield United.
Could have had a touch, couldn't he? That could have got him over the line. Killed this game off completely. Very unlike him, just again lack a little bit of composure.
Now slip from Viner allows Sharp to get away down the inside left channel, just slows the game down for a moment. Lowe rolls it back to McAtee. McAtee looks back to halfway, Robinson, then Norwood with a first time ball round the corner, asking Lowe to give chase. He'll get there, plays it across. Jebison fires over from 6 yards out. Massive chance for Daniel Jebison to get a second for the Blades, but he lifted his shot high over the crossbar. 1-0.
Well, it's a good job it's not 0-0. That is a horrible miss. It's fired across at pace, but all he's got to do is get his chest over the ball, let it hit his foot, and somehow he puts it over the bar. It's harder to get it over the bar than it is to put it in the back of the net.
That massive goal for Plymouth Argyle, who lead at Shrewsbury. A goal in the 96th minute from Callum Wright will put Plymouth back on top of the table, no matter what Sheffield Wednesday have done. Ipswich are winning, Sheffield Wednesday are winning, and Sheffield United have a vital 3 points. It's been a nervous night at Bramall Lane, but James McAtee, with his 8th goal of the season in the Championship, settled the nerves late on, firing home, and Sheffield United go 8 points clear of Luton Town in 3rd and go into their FA Cup semi-final against the might of Manchester City at the weekend, knowing they've got a proper buffer between those and the chasing pack in the race for a place in the Premier League. Maybe it's only going to be a 2-year absence for the Blades. They got there in the end, but my, how they tested their supporters with some nervy football throughout. Bristol City, with nothing to play for, looked the better side for long periods, but then finally James McAtee slotted home neatly after he'd been found by Iliman and Jai, and that ended up being the crucial moment of the game. Danny Mills, 1-0 to Sheffield United.